Now, again, some of you guys have discovered we are skipping Chapter 9. And Chapter 9 really just has to do with reflections, rotations, transformations. And again, that is not something really that's covered on the SAT, the ACT. It doesn't matter in any advanced math. So, in the interest of time, for those of you guys who just are, consuming math, it would be a good idea to just go ahead and do that on your own. If you have any questions and you want to come talk to me about Chapter 9, I'll be happy to sit down and talk to you about Chapter 9. But right now, one of the most important chapters, all right, that they have put on the SAT and the ACT has to do with circles. All right, so this is kind of an important subject simply because it's one of the topics that's pretty much covered extensively on the SAT. All right, so with that being said, all right, I am pretty sure that you guys know what a radius is. I am not sure if you know what a chord is, though. All right, a chord is simply a line segment whose endpoints are on the circle. So we could say that EA is a chord. We can also say that DB is a chord. But DB is also the what? The diameter. So the largest chord on a circle is the diameter. All right? But EA does not pass through the center of the circle, therefore it's just called a chord. FC is not a chord because both endpoints, all right, are not on the circle. All right? FC is obviously called the radius. All right? So let's see if there's any other information that you need to know. We know radius, we know diameter, we know chord. All right. Now, naming a circle. All right, to name the circle, you just simply say, in this case, this would be circle O. All right? It is circle O. All right? And again, I don't really have a problem with us naming the radii or naming the chords. Pretty simple. All right? So now let's go through and see if we're good. So this circle is called circle what? This is called circle R. All right? Now, the radii of the circle you could list as RY, RB, RX, and RA. All right, not really that big of a deal. I'm expecting you already to know that. I don't care if you put RA or AR. Makes no difference to me.
Is there a sign for the radius?
No, there isn't actually. It's just a segment, yes. All right, it's a segment, not a line. All right. Now, in this particular case, the chords, we could say are AX, right? You could say they are YB. You could say they are AB, and you can say that they are XY. But specifically, remember what I said. The largest chord is the diameter. So every diameter is a chord. All right, but not obviously every chord is a diameter. All right? Now, if we just talked about the diameter, so that's not a big deal. If AB is 18, then AR would obviously be what? 9. All right? If RY is 10, then AR is
10.
and AB is 20. All right? Again, that's just the basic definition of, or the respect between the radius and the diameter. Now, is AB congruent to XY? Yes, because all diameters of the same circle are what? Congruent. All right. Easy as that. All right. Very, very simple. Very simple. All right. Now, something that you will prove later on in calculus, which is actually very cool, is how you determine this formula. All right. It's not something we can derive right now. It's something we've got to accept as true. So we know that the circumference is simply pi times the diameter, or 2 pi r. Now, I try to tell kids Circumference is the measure of a length. Did I hear me? Circumference is the measure of a length, which means it's one-dimensional, which means that you can only have one unit. Everybody with me on that? So the radius is the only unit, or the diameter is the only unit that is measured for the circumference. That's why when you talk about area, you should know that area would have to do something with 2 units because you measure area with 2 dimensions. So there must be 2 variables involved. Didn't say they have to be different variables. So the area of the circle would be pi r squared. All right. So right now, essentially all we're doing is coming up with the circumference. Now, obviously, I have a different opinion here. I don't really care about approximations when you get to higher level of math. You want the what? Exact answer. So in this case, if the circumference is given, all right, and they're interested in the diameter and the radius, all right? So the diameter would equal what?
40 over pi.
Exactly. 40 over pi. That's an acceptable answer. And then the radius would just be what?
20 over pi.
It would be 20 over pi. And keep in mind, we're dealing with inches. All right. Now, I always tell my kids that pi is approximately 3.14 blah, 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 right? So we can also just say that pi is 3. All right, that's a close enough approximation. Everybody with me on that? So if you had to estimate, it wouldn't be hard to estimate because you could just divide by what? 3. All right. Like I said, it's not a big deal for me on your calculator. All right. So again, personally, I just would like for you to leave it as 40 over pi. If there was a multiple choice answer and you had to round it, you would just go ahead and divide it out on the calculator. All right, I think you guys are understanding. All right. So question number 3, the diameter would be what? 15.62 divided by pi, and so the radius would be 7 point what? Divided by pi. All right. And these are measured in meters. All right. Is that okay with that?
Please don't want us to
Beautiful. All right. If you insist, go ahead. All right. I just don't think it's necessary. So for question number 5, the diameter would be 79.5 divided by pi, and of course that would be measured in yards. And the radius would be 39.75 divided by pi yards. Yeah, first section is always super easy, super basic. All right. Now, for the next part, it says find the exact circumference. Now, when they say exact circumference, they literally mean to leave what? Pi in the end. Everybody okay with that? Right, you're not, exact means you're not rounding. All right, in order to multiply by pi, the only way you can multiply by pi is if you round pi. All right, everybody understand what I'm saying now for exact. All right, so I say leave your answers in the exact form. All right, yeah.
So say 256, like pi could go in 256.
Pi does not ever go into a number. Because why? Because pi would be, it goes on infinitely. There is no end to pi. That's why you can't divide it out. That's why you have to take an approximation. Just like somebody said pi is a fraction. Not really. Right? Some people use 22 over 7. You know, that's still an approximation. It's accurate to 3.14, but after that it's not. All right? There's another one that some people use that's a little bit more accurate. But I don't care about that. I'm not interested in rounding. All right? I want the exact answer. All right? So now let's try to knock out 7 real quick. All right. So you obviously should be able to tell me that the diameter is what? 10. All right. And how do I know that? Because we know our Pythagorean triples so well. All right. If you forget Pythagorean triples, you just have to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right. And the circumference then would be what? 10 pi centimeters. Beautiful. Okay? Exactly. All right. Now, number 8.
Number 8 is easy.
What is
45, 45, 95, 9, so the other 9 is 9.
Okay, so what's the diameter?
So then we have to do 9, so 80, 40,
No. 9 radical 2.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Remember, you even said it's a 45, 45, 90. Of course, you can, if you forget, which most people do, all right, you would just end up with the same answer. All right. But anytime you see a 45, 45, you know there's a radical 2 involved. So now you would say that the circumference is what? 9 radical 2 pi. All right. And thank you. We're in inches. All right. Let's look at number 9 now. All right. Now it's a rectangle, obviously, so this leg over here is 3. So then the diameter would be, come on.
16.
What? Stop talking. Tell me what? Square root of 58. Beautiful. And that doesn't really break down because 58 is 2 and 29. So the circumference is the square root of 58 pi. It doesn't matter where you put it. All right. All right, number 10. Don't be fooled by number 10. The circumference of the circle would just be what? 11. Right. The circumference is 11 pi. And that's kind of a common question because they always inscribe a circle into a square because kids can't really see the diameter very well. All right, exactly right. All right, you have to draw it out. You can see it's the same. All right, so here we go with number 11. Of course, we know 5, 12, 13. All right, please. All right, try to get that into your head. It'll save you a bunch of time on the standardized test. Remember that? 5, 12, 13. So my circumference is what?
13 pi centimeters.
13 pi centimeters. Very easy. All right, so number 12.
It's 2.
The diameter would be 2. Now again, we're practicing or reviewing our radicals. You're going radical 2, it's getting bigger, so you multiply by radical 2. Radical 2 times radical 2 is what? Is 2. So your circumference of that circle would just be very, very simple. Well, it's a triple, 5, 12, 13. All right. Again, if you need 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13, 8, 15, 17, 7, 24, 25. Those are the most common triples. All right, those are the most common triples. All right. So again, as you can tell, all right, nothing is difficult here dealing with the circumference. All right. Now you're on your own. All right. Try the next 2 worksheets. All right. The ERBs or the SATs are at the end. Once you do all that.
Yeah, I know.
What's that?
Do the last one.
No, you're doing this right here, 10-1, and you're doing,
The last one.
yes.